This is my 1955 Chevrolet 3100 step-side pickup truck, and I'm slowly restoring this thing. And one of the things I'm working on right now is the headliner and installing the gasket that goes with it, and it is a tough nut to crack. I found a couple of things to be advantageous in installing it. I think I wanted to share them with you because anything that can make this process simpler needs to be shared. First of all, things I recommend: getting some sort of thin oil. I'm using actually peanut oil to help lubricate this rubber strip. And let me get on the other side of the truck and show you what this headline strip looks like. It is got a big rubber tube with this crease built into it that's designed to slip into the headliner bay. I'll show you how it fits. This headliner, which I've installed up to this point so far, giving a few pointers on things that make it easier. First of all, paint stick is very helpful. It's about the right thickness. It's wood, so it doesn't damage anything. But when you start, this headliner piece needs to be in place, and it's very difficult to get it exactly in place. But once you do, you don't want to move it around when you're installing this gasket, which needs to be put on after the headliner's in place, or you'll never get the headliner in. This rubber gasket, the seal is extremely tight. You'll never get it in, so it has to be in place, but you don't want it to move when you're installing it. These paint sticks work really well, I've found, for wedging in between and making it so tight that the headliner itself won't move. Then I recommend anything, I'm using a punch, anything that's narrow on one end and thicker on the other and slowly tapers. I found something that's slick metal to work pretty well, so it'll slide in and out. Even though this does have some grooves right here, I try to stop before it gets there, but I just need something I can tap in here tightly enough to make this space bigger to make it easier to put in this seal. Something I didn't try, but I watched a video of somebody else trying to do this. They said, or at least I read in the comments, that they put this tube or this rubber strip in water, in hot water, for about an hour and let it soak. And that's a really good idea, but I'd already started and I wasn't about to do this whole process again. It took way too many hours to get to this point, and I had to learn a lot just to get here. But if you can put this thing in, this rubber piece, in hot water for about an hour before you put it in, I hear that makes this a lot easier to do. Putting some oil in the crease and on this rubber tube so it will slide easier between the headliner and the metal piece is very beneficial. The most important thing I have found, if you have either a rubber mallet, which would work excellent. I don't have one of those, so I just used my regular claw hammer, and I have to be really careful when I use this, but I got a terry cloth, really soft rag to put over it. And then what you do, once this is up here, you take the hammer, put it flat up against your headliner and tap. Use it to tap against this rubber seal to help put it on the groove. That is something that has really sped this process up. It's one thing to get it started, it's another thing to get it fully seated. And I found using either a rubber mallet, which I don't have, I think it would work better, but again, if you protect it with your regular hammer well enough, you should be able to, again, really lightly tap this rubber piece, keeping it flat against the headliner so it doesn't move. And it's a really simple process, but it made putting this on a lot easier. I don't have an extra set of hands to record this as I'm putting it in, but I'll come back to you in a minute when I've gotten further along in the process. But that's the main things that I have found to make this process easier. Realize it is going to take a lot of time, so have a lot of patience and be prepared for very sore burning arms, because you have to hold your arms up constantly, holding or trying to push that rubber gasket up in there, and it doesn't take long for your arms to start burning. I used to have to, when I was in the military in basic training, we screwed up, we'd have to haul around a big old log that weighed about 40 pounds and holding it up in the air, and my arms feel like they did after hauling Big Red around when I was in basic training. So be prepared for some burning arms. Be prepared to take breaks in between doing it, but you will get it done, especially if you try and use some of these tips. I hope this is helpful, and I'll catch you later. My name's Rick, and thanks for watching.